uh, uh, beer. And then it happened that there were also some other things that were used in the same room. The room was not tidy. So the moment the guy saw me, he thought I was the guilty one. And he told me, I'm a Christian, I don't think we'll live like this. I've talked to the housekeeper, he's telling us that you look like a gentleman. But the evidence here is opposite. Then I told him, what's happening? I'm just coming in. Just get off the door, we check what is happening. And then when I got inside, I was also surprised. Then I asked him, are you the one? Then we all laughed. And the funniest thing is that together we were able to serve God in the ministry. We were able to extend the ministry even to the military of this country. We were serving at the DOD. We were doing the evening services there with them. And with the same person who happened to be a child of a soldier. And from that, he was also attached to the ministry. We also happened to minister together with him, even through the KMTCs. And we saw the hand of God in our lives. So most of the time, we are having a topic that some of us fear talking about, and it's a topic on addiction, where you will find somebody so engraved into certain behaviors that doesn't honor God and also themselves. We were discussing with Pastor Noah the other day, and I stood guided that of all the important topics we had, we still needed to discuss something about addiction. And even as we discuss, maybe I'll begin from a story in the Bible. And this is the story of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. And we'll read from the book of Ezekiel 16, and we'll take 49 to 50. The New King James Version. Look, this was the iniquity of your sister Sodom. She and her daughter had pride, fullness of food, abundance of idleness. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and the needy. And then 50 goes ahead and tells us that. And they were haughty and committed abomination before me. Therefore I took them away as I saw it fit. That's another story where we find people who are addicted into things that ended the whole of a city into destruction. Some of us may ask that we have a few aspects of that. Is pride a sin? It is the same pride that the easiest way to fall, we are normally told, is to have a spirit of pride. The easiest way to fall. Those who studied physics, you'll be told there was something called free fall, where you are not aided. The funny thing is that when you climb up, you are aided to go up. You may need a ladder, you may need a craft like aircraft to climb up. But when coming down, gravity will assist you. And we are told that pride is one of the easiest ways to fall down. Number two, we are also told fullness of food. Then I wonder, fullness of food. I know most of us will wonder, gluttony, fullness of food. It just means taking more than enough for your own self and forgetting about others. So I know some of us are also guilty of such offenses. My brother may take up the case. And then there is abundance of idleness. Then I wondered, some Englishmen say that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So could it mean that when we don't deny ourselves certain things, we are not humbled? When we don't pray and fast, and when we stay idle, then we are prepositioned to do certain mistakes. And I will just go ahead to the next reading, which we also identify Paul also showing us some struggles. And it talks about, we know that the law is spiritual, but I am unspiritual, sold as a slave to sin. I don't understand what I do, for what I want to do, I do not do. But what I hate, I do. And if I do what I do not want to do, I agree the law is good. As it is no longer I myself who do it, but it is in sin living in me. So I wanted us to understand that even when you are in the walk of salvation, the struggle for being pure and the struggle for standing in faith and getting the last reward still is alive in us. And it doesn't depart. So let's not assume that the moment you have been saved, it is all done. We are told that it is a walk. So the moment you are saved, you have just begun. The moment you confess Christ, you have just begun. And somebody may ask, what is addiction? When we look at the dictionary definition of the same, they indicate that it's a condition of being unable to stop using or doing something as a habit, especially something harmful. So there are certain habits that you may find yourself in that are actually harmful to you, to your community, and to everyone around you. So we are supposed to look deep into our hearts, search. And this is what we need as Christians. Search yourself so that you continuously improve. We are told that it can be produced either by the habitual taking of drugs or regularly engaging in certain behaviors, and they have given an example of gambling. So let's underline some of those. Habitual taking of drugs under certain behaviors such as gambling. And when you find yourself indulging in the same, then you are called an addict. So being an addict, you have found yourself in a certain habitual behavior that you cannot easily get yourself out of it. And I'll challenge us. As Christians, you are not immune. So there is some work we need to do so that we restore back our relationship with God. And we talk of two main types of addiction. The first one being physical addictions. And these are situations where you find yourself, for example, taking alcohol, and you begin small, and then it becomes habitual. And you find yourself taking drugs more and more, to the extent that you are destroying your body, which is the temple of God. We have nicotine addiction, or nicotine. Then we have several. I know young men understand better than we do. We are told they are opioid. We have methamphetamine. I don't know what they are. Those who are in the medical world can support us. But it's researched that actually people are taking some of these drugs. We have cocaine, we have inhalants, we have prescription drugs that make you feel high for some time. Then, of course, another one is caffeine. Those who are addicted to coffee, you find yourself, you can't easily get out of it, and you are entangled into it. So, I don't know, but maybe it's also something you may work around. There are those also addicted to tea. So let's make sure it's not harming us. So let's just moderate those ones, because they are also food. But we are told what happens when you have an excess of food. You also preposition yourself for other issues. Sindio? And then we have cannabis. I know those who are from the west of Kenya, most of the things revolve around cannabis. We were used to be told that measles, take it, blow it on the child. Wash the child in cannabis. If a baby has colic, grind the seeds, then put some water inside. Then give the child to drink. The child will be high, and the child will forget that she was supposed to cry. Somebody also told us, put a bit of simsim, sorghum, and all that concoction. Then prepare porridge with some cannabis seeds. Your child will not trouble you. They'll become bigger in size. And to a certain extent, we were told they'll become some of the biggest rugby players. I don't know. So forgive us. Somebody once said, Wanyore wengi wako rugby. And you know what happens in Bunyoreland. So I beg us. I know my sister, don't feel offended. I just used it as an example. So certain things you may find that it is actually the community around you. And some leaders also talk of those who've started understanding around behaviors. Also talks about something called idiosyncrasies, where somebody believes, since I come from a certain village, then I have to take this thing. So maybe I'll also give another example. In campus, we happen to be with certain friends. And then we had a room in our third year. So finally, we used to walk around our routes. And then someone made a joke. Panapo mnyore, bangi na kuwa mwenyewe. Because some of your relatives might be smoking, or friends, and as they come, they drop the seeds, and then it grows. So wherever there is somebody from there, there will be something grown around, even without nobody planting the same. And then I looked, and I said, okay, it seems as if I also come from the same place. And then I looked at my neighbor, he confirmed, okay, I am also from the same place. So could this be the reason why we have a lot of these around? Only to realize somebody else had planted them. So that is something that we really need to get out of ourselves. Don't have a feeling that because you belong to a family where a big number of them are engaged into drugs, so you say, I may not be an exemption. You are saved, you worship God, but silently you find yourself in a certain corner, still indulging yourself in things that destroy you, harm you, and also harm our walk in salvation. Then we also find the environment you are brought up in. Some people say you are brought up in a violent community where everything is solved through a fist, a stone, a knife, an arrow, a spear, or even a gun. So as you grow up, whatever you think that helps you solve a problem is around where you came from. So your environment would really tend to do much into what you will want to form yourself into. Another thing is, there is another joke also, that those who are brought up with their grandparents always have a level of indulgence, overindulgence. People who believe that whenever I see something good, it should belong to me. Maybe because the grandparents have learned a lot of mistakes they did in parenting, and they now think they can do it differently with this other child. And then they end up overindulging you. You cannot be beaten. You cannot be corrected. And then they give you some of the best food. And they mobilize resources to make sure you are comfortable. So there is an assumption that if you are brought up with them, then you will have a very hard time in managing stress. There is also an assumption that the firstborns, if you are a firstborn, you'll be a disciplinarian and you will have your way always. Now imagine both of you are firstborns. I think we were telling such a story while we were traveling. We had a very long travel. And I can confirm we got lost twice. And there is a mzee who seemed to know the route. And he assured us, just go straight this way, you'll get there. And then we meet another guy who tells us, you can't cross through. So we were wondering, between the old guy and the young man, who do we trust? Eventually we realized the young man was truthful. The old man may not understand the context. He ended up misleading us, but of course we made our way back. So I just wanted us to think about the same. You may say, now that I'm a firstborn, things have to go the way I want. And if it doesn't go that way, you feel depressed, disappointed, and then you push yourself into certain corners to meditate. As you meditate about them, you become a devil's workshop. And you are sowing and inviting spirits that may also mislead you and get yourself into things that you are not supposed to be in. And there is also another one of lastborns, where you say, as a lastborn, I need to be served. I was used to that. And then you meet someone in a house, now you find yourself being clumsy. And then everyone wonders, okay, why are you this? And then you are quick to give a response. I'm this way. Then you also set yourself to be in a situation that is likely to also harm yourself. Now, what does this mean as a Christian? What it means is that once you are saved, you become a new what? A new creation. And once you become a new creation, then your walk of salvation begins. The most common types of addictions are the ones I've talked about. And those perceptions that end up pushing people in addictions are some of those examples I've given. Now, there are those ones that come in as a culture, and you find yourself jazzing to them, where people are looking for jobs, and the jobs are not forthcoming. And then addictions come in, and somebody tells you, we want to join money market. I realize most of the young men are now in the money market. The other day we were discussing and we realized at some point it's not the same money market. It means a lot. Wash wars is also put into the same category, money market, where you come and then osha pesa yenye imetoka mali ujui, corruption money. You may not know what that money did and the lives that that money has destroyed. And then the more you get a few coins, the more you find yourself deeply indulged into it to an extent that you can't get out. We also have issues around gambling. Now that you've seen some cash, it's very attractive. Why don't I just put 50 shillings? And then there's a possibility of multiplying it times 6. And then we go watch football, and you have a temptation. Maybe let me just try today. And it happens that you get money. I once had a boss who spent money, mpaka kachukua pesa pia ya mradi akatumia. You had good hopes that he's going to get more. Selling his assets. And the moment you begin disposing your assets, and the moment you begin disposing your assets to get into something that is not spiritual, it does not build you, does not build others. What you push yourself into is something that, a situation that you'll never get into, and eventually it will harm you. Initially, you may think you are benefiting, but in the long run, you find yourself into the same. Then the other day, the former president of the US was saying he was addicted to the phone and also internet. Wherever you are, you will find yourself also in a phone. At a church, tunakaa kidogo. I am a social media influencer. So the moment I'm a social media influencer. So the moment I do dance kidogo, then I expect some people to react. So every moment you are counting the reactions, likes and what have you. So every day you are counting. You are in church, you are wondering, okay, how many people? Saying, okay, I have 50. Then you want to also study trends. Now every 1 hour, how many people am I adding? Eventually you get yourself engraved into something that may even internet, and then you get confused. But don't worry, we are told we are in Industry 5. Industry 5 and 4 is where we have Internet of Things. Because we are becoming a global village. And when we are becoming a global village, there is that need to know what is happening everywhere. And the easiest way also to do business is also to serve every corner of the world. So even learning, even in terms of professional development, you are told we are in IoT era, IoT, Internet of Things era. So you need to also make sure you are well acquainted with internet. And also Internet of Things. You don't stop at internet. You must also see how you can create solutions from the same. But when you overindulge into it, to an extent that you don't function, you don't perform well at work, at school, even in your own self, to a level that you can't pray, then you realize, I've crossed the boundary. So you don't become a sodomite. Yeah. I know sodomy has been associated with only one thing, but we have read it's not only that thing. We have seen there are several other things. So you can be a sodomite from even eating too much. The other day I noticed that we were too busy. We were trying to present a proposal somewhere, and we realized on the second day that we hadn't eaten. Then I was asking my friend, we are in the second, have you taken something? Then he was telling me, okay, I have not. And then we agreed, akaniambia, we shuka chini, ulete chipo. I climbed down, but I don't know what happened on the way. I came back without anything. And we finally realized that about midnight, that even myself, I didn't do what I was sent to do. I don't know, there's a phone that came by, and somebody else asking for directions, and I found myself climbing up after midnight, and we didn't take anything. So we had to arrange again. And now, contact